Dating Secrets Unveiled. Today we have with us 20 ways to date better and flirt better for 40-plus women. I'm Jessie K, the real matchmaker. I am a certified attraction coach, and I'm here with Matchmaker May, and she flew in from Denver to give us 20 dating and flirting tips, and we're going to do them together. So here you go, May, start us off.
First of all, ladies, wherever you go, whether you're in a coffee shop or a laundromat or grocery store, you got to put your phone down. Put your phone down and be present in the moment and get a feel of your surroundings, because there are great guys everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean from the guy who opens the door for you at the Starbucks, to the guy who's getting change at the laundromat, to the guy who's waiting in line at the grocery store. You have millions of opportunities to speak to men and get to know them and talk to them and ask them specific questions.
I agree with that. You have to be ready to attract the man.
You have to be present, and you have to show them that you're available and that this is who you really are. If you're in line getting something and you're cracking jokes and you're having fun, even at the most boring place, he's going to see that you can be an exciting, fun person. And that makes a huge difference in the guy's eyes. Wouldn't you agree, Jessie?
I would. So would you think that I should put my phone in my purse or suggest them to put it in their back pocket? Just put it away, period.
You can put it in your purse or your back pocket. What I mean is, don't have your head down. Don't start texting somebody. Don't start a phone call when you're at the store. Just put it away. But obviously, if you get an emergency call, then people can still get in touch with you. But look around you and look into people's eyes and try to engage in a conversation. Ask a guy a question or make a joke about what he's buying in the grocery store. Like, oh, wow, those are like some Rice Krispies. Are you going to make some Rice Krispie treats? Like, whatever that may be, just so your personality comes out.
That's correct. That's correct. No, I agree with that. I agree. Being present, I think, is so important. I think being present is probably one of my number one pet peeves with singles of today's world. The culture of dating and these phones and gadgets have sucked us in so much that we just don't pay attention. Like May said, we're also not present in our present day. And we're actually living life through the screen of a phone rather than currently living it throughout the real world with the birds and the bees.
Right. And when you have a phone on you, you almost use that as your crutch to almost not make eye contact with people, men or women, actually. But if you put your phone away and you're forced to stare at people and look at them in the eye, it's going to make you want to talk to somebody, because it is kind of weird to just sit there. So that's a great way for people to go out, eat somewhere on their own even, but don't take your phone. If you're at a fast food place, go sit next to a guy that's also sitting by himself. You never know who you'll meet.
You know what's funny? Have you ever looked at your phone and looked at how many hours you spend on it and how many hours your screen time is on?
That's scary.
It's scary. It's scary. So, ladies, give yourself a break. Have breaks from your phone and use it as time to say, I'm going to put my phone away for half an hour and I'm just going to visually look around myself and make eye contact and meet new friends.
Better yet, make it a challenge. Make it a challenge where you decide, I'm going to run errands today and I'm going to leave my phone in the car. Because you probably don't want to leave your phone at home in case you need it for an emergency, but just leave it in the car. You don't have to take it into Target or wherever you may be going, but just leave it in the car and just see what happens.
I like that challenge.
Yeah.
Ladies, take that challenge. Leave your cell phone in the car. All right, May. Well, I have one. I have a dating and flirting trick, and this is a little bit of a trick that you can start out slowly and actually start out by saying it to women first, not going out with women, but saying it to women first. I challenge you as a woman to compliment 20 times a day somebody, 20 times a day. So what you're going to do, ladies, is that even if it's a woman, so let's say you're too nervous to compliment strangers, men as strangers. So start off by complimenting women as strangers. And what I do is I put on my calendar 20 compliments a day. So I either compliment a woman because of her lipstick, her shoes, her coat. But once you're comfortable and you've got it down pat and you're passing women and you're saying, hey, great lipstick. Great mascara. Where'd you get those shoes? That coat's great. Now you can upgrade to men. And it's just complimenting. Get used to complimenting men. If you knew on the average how many compliments men never get, you'd be very shocked. Men can go a whole week with getting 0 compliments. You try a woman going 1 hour without getting a compliment, and she's going to go crazy. So compliments are something that you have to work on, and they are something that you can do in passing, and it'll really get someone's attention. So I'd say start with women if you're not comfortable giving men compliments, and then upgrade and take it to men by just even the grocery guy bagging your groceries. You can say something like, boy, got some muscles there. You're doing a great job with these groceries. Look at you, strong guy. It's probably going to be someone you're not even interested in, but it allows you to set the scene for a flirt, a compliment, and everybody laughs and you feel good and they feel good, and you're getting used to talking and complimenting and saying things to people on the fly, in passing.
And to piggyback on what you're saying, Jessie, when you're on a date, what you can do, ladies, is be sure to give the guy an early compliment, because that's the great way about getting out of the friend zone, is by giving him a compliment so he knows that, hey, she's interested in me, and not as a friend, but she thought I looked good in this shirt, or she thought my hair looked great, or wow, look at those muscles. So you're right away setting the tone that, hey, I don't need a friend. I'm not looking for a friend, but an early compliment gives you an easy way to let him know that, hey, this could be romantic in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. And you're opening the floodgates. You're opening the doors. You're letting him know he's okay with you to start connecting, right?
And another flirting tip, I know you were talking about complimenting women and how you can say, oh, I like your lipstick, or, oh, that mascara looks good. I think the bare minimum, if you're going to go out and about running errands or doing whatever, you should at least wear mascara or at least wear lipstick. Just something to make your face look brighter, lights up, like you're not all sleepy. Because I know if I don't wear mascara, my eyes look like I'm totally sleepy and that I'm not even paying attention. So I think the bare minimum is mascara or lipstick. Just if you're out and about running errands or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Would you suggest dressing up? Somebody asked me what I look like when I go to the grocery store, and I said I do tend to wear things not dressed up, but I wear things based on I may run into somebody.
Yeah, you should always keep that in mind. I mean, you can still look nice in dressed up yoga pants or a nice top, maybe a little tight, little cleavage, whatever that may be, but appropriate for where you're going. I don't mean you have to get all dolled up and makeup and everything before you go run an errand, but you do still want to look nice. You want to wear like decent shoes or a nice top or something that you wouldn't mind running into a friend at a store even. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And so when you're laying that compliment and he turns around at the store, you look bright-eyed and nice and you feel good. So giving the compliment is going to be easy because you made an effort to look nice at the store.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
when you're at the store, there's tons of ways for you to start conversations with men by asking a specific question. You know, you can ask them questions about what they're buying in their basket or whatever that may be.
What are you going to do with those noodles tonight?
Right. Or, wow, you're buying a lot of noodles. Make a joke.
Right. What's going on with you tonight? You know?
Wow, that's a lot of meat. Just kidding. Don't say that.
Yeah. Well, you could. But
there's a lot of ways of asking people questions to spark interest, to make them talk to you. And that's what we're missing in today's culture, is going out to the store and being friendly to everybody, because you never know who you'll meet. You know, the guy who's just walking by getting some Oreos and milk, you never know. He could be a great guy. You just need to get to know him a little bit.
He could be your Netflix and Oreo and chill guy. What do you have next? I have one next. It's, the more that you've been hurt in relationships, one of the dating tips and even a flirting tip I have is that if people ask me about relationships, I have a really planned a planned message that I give about my relationships. And I think that it's sometimes good to have planned out messages. Like my introduction is also a little planned out. I have an introduction about myself that I say almost to everyone so that I'm confident and I'm funny in it and I'm approachable. And so when I introduce myself, I have just a little thing that I say about myself that makes it recognizable and also makes it playful so that when I'm introducing myself to a gentleman, he remembers my name, and then also there's a playfulness with it. So I think if you stick with an introduction that is memorizable and that you use it all the time, and maybe that you have some kind of clever thing that comes with it, I think it's very memorable and it's something that guys enjoy.
I think it falls along with when you're talking about yourself, kind of create a story about yourself and not talk about your job, because your job can just be so boring to men. And ladies, too. Ladies don't want to hear about what a guy does at work, but we need to really go and talk about your interests and what you do that keeps you busy when you're not at work. I think a lot of times we just focus on our work too much, and then that becomes the main topic of our conversation. And sometimes on dates, I hear a lot of people talk about just their jobs on dates, and it just gets so boring.
Right. You have to think about it. Like, it's called conventional conversation. Everybody wants to get past that. How are your kids? Where do you live? How long does it take you to get to work? What do you do at work? How many times do you work out? Let's get past all that simple conversation that's everyday conventional conversation and throw in some curveballs like, hey, did you hear it's going to rain this weekend? I was thinking about jumping puddles. You want to do it with me? Or, hey, I read on your profile that you're from the Midwest. So that must mean that you've tried, bull riding. I mean, you've just got to think outside of the box and get people talking in a different manner, because guys really want to skip the conventional stuff and get right to the fun, giggly, vibrating conversation that leads to really getting to know what makes you tick, what makes you laugh, what makes you smile, what tickles you.
I mean, it really goes into what are your interests that makes you interesting, right? I mean, if you can't rattle off maybe 5 to 10 things that you're really passionate about or that you really enjoy, then he's not going to know who you are, and he's not going to think you're interesting because you don't have any interests. So I hate when I read profiles and I just see, oh, I like hiking, I like reading, I like movies, I like shopping, I'm a foodie. Well, get into a little bit more specific about that. Where do you like hiking? What's your best favorite place to hike? And why was it so challenging? And what kind of foods do you like? And do you cook? Are you the master at such and such lasagna or whatever that may be? Just reveal a little bit more about yourself so you're painting a picture for him and not just rattling off things that he could read on a profile.
Everybody likes a good storyteller.
Yes.
So learn to tell stories, maybe animated, maybe even tell the juicy parts, the good parts. I just went over this with a client, actually. I said, have a story about yourself. And I said, it's great to have an introductory story, something that happened to you, maybe even something silly, something funny, even something where you were made fun of. Because it allows the gentleman to feel relaxed with you and feel welcoming by you. And especially if you're laughing at yourself, I think it makes you easier, it makes you feminine, and it makes you also show that you're likable.
Right. That's so important, to be likable and kind and all those things that men are asking for when they meet with a matchmaker. They want someone kind, considerate, compassionate, all those things. And this leads to the other question I was going to ask you, Jessie. How would you describe yourself? If a guy on a date asks you, okay, Jessie, tell me a little bit about you. Who are you? Are you describing yourself in adjectives and painting a picture for him? Or How do you describe yourself?
Well, if I was on a date and someone said, tell me about yourself, describe yourself to me, or tell me about yourself. The first thing I would do is I would say, well, you want to know a little bit about me? I'm passionate. I'm funny. I like to talk with my hands. I'm giving of myself. I'm clever. I'm a sweetheart. I am selfless. I'm a sportsaholic girl. Don't challenge me to sports. I'm a great cook, and I love to cook together. I'm quite adventurous, and I would say I'm a daredevil. And I'm also feminine to boot. So if I were to describe myself, I would use the words that make me stand out, that highlight me, and that make me sound interesting and vibrant. So my favorite words for myself are daredevil, caring, and clever.
Very nice. Yeah. And I'm sure any man out there would appreciate it and find those adjectives very hot.
Any man, May. Any man.
Any man. Okay, so now we've talked about how many items have we gone through the list here? About 7 or so. Should we do a quick recap?
Yeah, let's recap it.
Okay. I mentioned women leaving your phone at home, putting it down.
I mentioned having a good introduction and being able to know like some adjectives about who you are.
And women ask specific questions when you're around men out in public so you can keep the conversation going.
Compliment people, especially men. Men rarely get a compliment. They could go a whole week and not get a compliment. So compliment people, compliment men, and make it specific. Make it something about them that they can really get tickled about.
And the early compliment when you're on the date to get you out of the friend zone, that's huge. And then
how would you describe yourself? I think everybody needs to have a really good introduction, and I think it's important to have something memorized almost. It's a game changer, ladies. I promise you. Have something that is a little memorized. Like if I said, introduce myself, I'd say, hi, I'm Jessie. Oh, hey, Jessie, tell me a little about yourself. I'm clever, I'm a daredevil, and I'm super sweet. I think most people are going to want to stand around and hear more. So have a storyline, have an introduction, adjectives you use to describe yourself rather than reliable and happy. Use some adjectives that make you stand out, that highlight you.
And makeup, ladies, bare minimum, mascara or lipstick. If you can't put your whole face on, just look presentable because you never know who you'll meet out there.
It's actually, I did a survey with 100 men recently, and actually one of the things that they said is that they said that they wish that women were more feminine. And if you look at the olden days, just 50 years ago, 40 years ago, women wouldn't leave their house without their girdle. They wouldn't leave their house without a corset. They didn't leave their house without lipstick or curls in their hair. So, ladies, I'm not asking you to take yourself back 50 years, but I am saying to you that men fall in love with their eyes and women fall in love between their ears. So, if it were up to me, I would tell you to make sure your visual appearance is on point when you're talking to men or when you're out walking around looking for men on your own.
What if I'm insecure about the way I look and I've been looking this way for 10 or 15 years and I don't even know how to make myself look better? What should I do?
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a great question, and that happens a lot with some of the ladies that we work with, May. Some of the things I tell women is, first of all, you can go to any mall in Nordstrom's or Macy's and go in the makeup counter and they'll do your makeup for free. Mm-hmm. And it's a great, uplifting, fun adventure. They'll tell you the colors that are good for you and, they'll probably sell you a little makeup.
And you can also ask them questions on how to use it. How do I use the blush? What makes my cheeks look the best? And there's different things. I mean, all these years of wearing makeup, I could still use more tips on how to look better. So,
yeah. And so then, and I also talk about to women, finding your colors, what look good on you. Mm-hmm. When I did a survey with men, one of the things that they talked about were brighter colors are better. So we're also easily torn to wearing grays and blacks and, maybe the off colors, but brighter colors are always better. So if I had somebody that didn't feel good about themselves, the best thing I could tell them is to get their makeup done professionally, to learn to their colors, to learn what looks good on them, and to learn easy makeup tips that you could do really fast. And then I would also help them by saying what colors look good on you and what colors you feel bright and happy in.
Yes. I think it's key if someone who's getting back out there dating and they're unsure about what to wear, what flatters their body, just go and talk to somebody and have an image consultant help you with that. They can help you pick out 3 outfits that you would wear on your first dates. This is the outfit you'll always wear on the first date. This is the outfit you'll always wear on the second date. And if you're lucky enough to get to the third date, this is the outfit you'll wear on the third date. That way, you're not stressed out about what to wear on the first, second, and third date. You kind of have a plan already and know what looks good on you. And maybe that'll help you. At least for my clients, they aren't as nervous when they're going back out in the dating world if they have a plan.
That's a great idea. I actually don't say it the way you do, but I like the way you said that. Have a first, second, and third date outfit. I love that, actually. I'm going to steal that from you.
Please.
What I say to my clients is that I say you have to have date outfits. So if you have 2 dresses, 2 pairs of pants, 3 shirts, and 2 shoes, those pieces that I just named off, those pieces are not worn to work. They're not worn out with their girlfriends. They're not worn to family events. They're only date attire. And so when you're going out on dates, you're going to get excited to wear it because these are the jeans that look kick-ass on you. And when you're going to put on the makeup, you're going to get excited about it because this is the look that the lady at the counter showed you makes your eyes pop out and look amazing. So you're going to have tricks that you save just for date night so that the event becomes a real special event. And the guy's going to know it just by the attention that you've paid to yourself.
Okay, so moving on, I have another tip, Jessie. I don't know if this comes across when you're helping women out there. When on a date, oftentimes I get feedback from men who say, gosh, this lady, I went out with her and it was great, but she's so busy and she sounds like she doesn't even need a man. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Do they ever say, it just sounds like she's just on a date, but she doesn't need a man? Like if she needed to change a tire, she'd probably change it herself. So what are your thoughts on that? Like how do women get from being independent, but yet show the men in their lives who they're meeting and dating that they do want a man in their life and they do need a man in their life?
So that's a great question and comment. And it happens often. And I think it happens more often than you think, ladies. And I think a lot of us are sitting back saying, I don't do that. But you probably do. Because we all work so hard and our work becomes our focus in our life. And so we spend too much time at it, all of us. And when somebody says that to me, I always tell them it's really important that you turn off your light switch at the door when you leave work. Because, first of all, work's not that fascinating. Men are not interested in work whatsoever. And it's just, work is just a means for us to all live and to get to where we want to go. So I say turn off the work. And also, I think women need to understand that men don't ever find it sexy when you wear the pants unless they're looking for sponsorship.
They're not looking for, what, a boardroom in the bedroom? Is that what they call
They're
it?
not looking for you to shine the balls, so to speak. So it really is important that you leave, the businesswoman in the suit
at home.
And
or at work, sorry.
At work, And it's not to say that you can't be proud of what you do or proud of your accolades or your successes. It's just saying that that's work. Now, you've done 8 hours of it. Now spend the rest of the time having fun, being lighthearted, and talking about other things that keep the world revolving.
I agree. I think sometimes women go on dates and they just rattle off how busy they are. Oh, I go to the gym and I go walk my dog and I go meet my girlfriends for happy hour and I go Saturday for Pilates and Sundays I go to yoga. And then the guy's like, whoa, she has no time for relationships. So Ladies, just be cautious when you're talking to a guy. Yes, there's a fine line between trying to sound interesting and have a lot of interest and rattling off all this stuff that you do that makes it sound like you have no room for a guy in your life.
Yeah, and if a guy said to me, "Wow, it sounds like you're really busy," after I maybe rattled off some of those things, I would immediately turn around and say to him, "I might be busy, but when you ask me out, I'll be available."